Good afternoon. How we took two problems and made them each other's solution. As we all know, student loans, student loan debts, the cost of tuition is rising every year, year after year, semester after semester. Now, financial aid is also rising, but not enough to cover the cost of tuition. So this typically leaves American households with $10,000 to $12,000 to try to come up with every year. And so between you and your parents, you have to figure out how to cover this problem. This is called the private student loan market. Problem number two, the banks were literally shutting out an entire class of people called the low-income communities in the late 70s. The government stepped in and created what's an act called the Community Reinvestment Act. This act was mandated so that banks would have to give a portion of their money back to the community that they were trying to shut out. So this problem typically goes to serve the low-income communities today through low-income housing projects, first-time home buyer projects, community financial literacy programs. But if you notice, I didn't mention to help you pay your tuition. But before I start, I'm gonna tell you how I paid my own tuition. This is me and my family. It's me, my sister, and my mom in this picture. And she may look like a single mother in this picture. Actually, she's not. I have a father, and he was busy out working, trying to figure out how he was gonna pay the tuition for us. So this single parent picture looks like a single parent mother, but really she's a mad mother, because my dad missed the family photo. And so here I decided to make the choice myself. I decided that my sister may need a little bit more help than me. So I decided to go to the Army. Yes, the recruiters got me. They came to school and told me, "Oh, Stacie, you don't have to worry about a war. We haven't had a war since Desert Storm. You'll be fine. We can help you pay your tuition. You'll serve your time. You'll get out." Little did they know that we had an administration that was looking for weapons of mass destruction. However, my unit went out to go fight the war while I stayed back to pay my tuition. And then I went on to land a job at a company called HSBC, which we all know is the world's largest international bank. So I rose through the ranks pretty quickly, became the #1 banker in the mortgage division. And then I learned that while we were out trying to help the community with bank products, about this Community Reinvestment Act. So again, I learned more that if you were in the Washington, D.C. area, in the darker shaded areas, you may not have had access to be able to get either a bank credit card, a bank loan, a mortgage, a small business loan, because you lived in the darker shaded areas. The banks were doing what's called redlining. And so as I learned more and more about what we were doing as bankers, I wanted to take a minute and see if I can get an aha drum roll from the audience. How are we getting this money back to the community? Well, people like this were coming to me and that looked like the community, but I couldn't get her a loan. This is Francina, a local DC resident that came to me to try to get a loan, but she didn't have a cosigner. But we're supposed to be giving money back to the community, I thought. Well, they said, Stacie, she doesn't have a cosigner. She doesn't have a parent that has a 700 credit score, $150,000 in assets, and she's a foster care background, independent student that had just met her mom at the age of 19 who was a recovering addict. So how are we gonna help this community if we're not even getting the money into hands of people like Francina? So she was faced with thinking about whether to drop out of school leading into her senior year, and if she dropped out of school, what was she gonna do with the debt that she had already obtained into her senior year? And then she would also forego the opportunity of earning a higher earning potential because she wouldn't have a degree. So we were making what's called students with debt and no degrees. And that's where PYT came in. Our platform created one step called crowd giving. Some people call it crowdfunding, but we call it crowd giving. Because when you are able to reach out to your friends and family to get small amounts of money, that's not about them just giving you a small $25, $50. That's our way at looking at seeing how can a bank look past your credit score. Who sees you more than your credit score? Your friends and family. And if they're willing to vouch the small amount of money to help you, then we looked at that as one indicator to de-risk the products that the banks could offer students. And then we partnered that with social and predictive data. This is data that we feel like we can look at the prediction of a student's success versus the hiccups that their parents may have. So if you think about the alternative data, we're pulling data from both Facebook, LinkedIn, we're looking at what you're majoring in, we're looking at the schools that you go to, how you've progressed while you're in school, and we're taking that and partnering with what we call bank lending. This bank lending is an opportunity to take alternative data and the crowd social vouching together, partner it, and create a way so that the banks can find a way to either possibly loan you the money or possibly grant you the money. Because again, to make a better bank client, it's my belief that we can help you get access to an education through small microloans and small scholarships. So remember Francina. We didn't let her just go off and sell cookies, which that's what she was doing when we met her, to try to pay her tuition. We helped her. And so we're proud to say she graduated from Howard University this past December. And so for the next 2 years, it's our goal to try to help 20,000 students get the degree that they need, whether it's through, again, a small microloan or a small scholarship to just give you a break through this community private money, growing our fund to $100 million. So how can you help today? Today, we know that graduation is upon us as we sit here on the campus, that someone you may know may be struggling to pay their tuition to get over the finish line in May. Have them reach out to us. We're looking to try to help as many students as we can. As well as the next time you're at your bank, ask your banker, what are we doing to help support higher education? Because as you plant these seeds with your local banks, we'll come through and water the conversation to create more products for you. And lastly, as we try to find ways that we can take this private banking money and help serve a public mission, ask your local education policy leaders, have you heard of Stacie and PYT, a smarter way to pay your tuition? Thank you.